my name is Arissa and this is Arissa Art, and today I am working on a 16 by 40 inch canvas. I have painted the sides black with the Oxide Black by Amsterdam, and I'm going to mix my colors with you because I got 3 of the new Purely Pigments from ColourArte and I'm super excited to use them. I have them, this is Pure Magenta, then I have Dancing Fuchsia, and Vibrant Aqua. So I've already mixed one of the colors and I will show you what it turns out to be. This I love because it is a mix, and that's what I love about these Purely Pigments, but you can just add drops to get the color, the tone you want. So what this is I used the Vivid Enamel Base by ColourArte, and to it I added 20 drops of the Magenta and 5 drops of the Fuchsia to get this color. But I wanted a little bit of sparkle in this one because these are not sparkly, they're just pigments and they're so beautiful. So to it, I didn't want to change the color, so I added the Misty Veil, which is a prism pour, but it's just kind of an iridescent violet. And this is the color I got, and I love it so much. But I want to mix some colors here too on camera. So I'm going to take my Vivid Enamel. Oops. Oh, and I also, once I did my mixing with the Vivid Enamel, I added another pouring medium. I'll show you in a second. So I'm just going to squeeze some of my Vivid Enamel here. I'll do 2. Uh-oh, I'm almost out. That's okay. It will last. Let me get another bottle. I think I have a little bit left in another bottle. Oh, almost out, but that's okay. Like I said, it'll mix up. I'm gonna just get away from my canvas while I do this one here. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix the Fuchsia on its own because again, that other one was mostly magenta. So it comes with a dropper. If you hear, you have to really shake these before you use them, and there's a ball in here. So let me see if you can hear it. You hear that? That ball mixes up your colors. So shake it until you hear the ball rattling, kind of like nail polish, where you got to shake it and mix it and stuff like that. So I hear my ball rattling, so I'm just going to add right now 20 drops of the Fuchsia. All right, that may have been 21 drops. It's okay. I'll get my stir stick here. Now, because this is so pigmented, I'm not going to put my wooden stir stick that has no sealant on it directly into the Fuchsia part because a lot of the color will just transfer to the stir stick. So I'm going to stir this initially without directly hitting the pigments so I don't waste it. There you go. So that is the Fuchsia on its own. And so you can see there's a difference in those colors, which I think is amazing. Now, when I add the mix pour, it'll mute it a little bit, but it will still dry, but my eye didn't like it. When it dries, it will be the vibrant color, but I add always a little bit more of the pigment when I add a pouring medium on it. Ooh. So this is the mix pour. This is by Krista Rasmussen, I believe. I've had it for a while. So I'm going to add my mix pour and I'll stir it in, and you'll see how it'll mute the color, but not too much, but it does mute it just a little bit, and mine just doesn't want to mute it. So I'm just going to add some more drops of my Purely Pigment. So that was another 20 drops. Close that tightly. And my color will come right back. So those are my first 2 colors. Now let's do the Aqua. I really do want more Vivid Enamel in this. Let me find a bottle. There we go. So I'm gonna put some more Vivid Enamel in this. There we go. So let's do my Vibrant Aqua. Let me get these other 2 colors out of here. And I'll start mixing it. and do with my Aqua. That was 22. All right, again, not touching the pigment directly. Get your paint stick covered with the enamel first, just to kind of protect it. Oh, that's so pretty. Look how pretty that color is. It's so rich. I absolutely love it. Oh, it's so pretty. So stir that in really well. And so you can see by not touching the pigment directly, the color, the bulk of this is what happens when the pigment touches your stick directly and it's unfinished. So if I were to stick most of this in that pigment, so much of that would be lost to the stick. But by not touching it directly when you start to stir, it stays in your pouring medium. So let me pour some of my mix in there. And I don't think I'll have to add that much more of the drops on this one. That color is so pretty. But I will add about 10 more drops. There we go. Oh, it's so pretty, pretty, pretty. Now, I will do one thing here. Because you didn't get to see the magenta straight up, I want to mix just a little bit, just so you guys can see the straight color from that one. I just realized that. And I have another color I'm going to use. I'm going to use some of my Vivid Intense colors. So I'll just put one over this because it'll be a different enough to see it. So in this one, I'm just going to add about 10 drops of my magenta so you can see the color. That was 11, but that's okay. Oh, it's so pretty. So that's the magenta without the, so you see the difference there. It's just slightly different, but it's gorgeous either way. But to this color, I wanted to use some of my, I'll just throw some of my Vivid Intense colors over it. So I'm gonna go with my, where are we? Oh, they're right in front of me, here. I'm gonna go with my Quinacridone Red and my Alizarin Rose here. So I'm gonna add to this a lot of this color and then some of the rose and then some more of the Vivid Enamel. All right, let's get that mixed up here. Oh, that is such a deep, pretty color. Love that. Again, my stick is mostly still stick and not pigment, so I didn't waste too much of my pigment having it sink into your stick. And so let me add my mix pour. And these come out with the perfect consistency that I want when I do this way. All right, so now let's mix my non-ColourArte colors. I want some bright colors in here too. So what I'm gonna use is 3 Pebeo colors. I'm gonna use their Iridescent Green Yellow, which I absolutely, this color dries so beautifully. I love it. I'm also running out of that too. I gotta buy some more paints. I'm gonna use their Iridescent Green Blue. And then their Iridescent Precious Gold. But for now, these are going to be my colors that we'll use. All these bright colors. And I'm excited. I'll be right back. I'm back quicker than I expected because I forgot. I thought I had some kind of base coat that seemed black or black enough. So these are just some drippings that I caught and stirred together with a black base. So they became black. So What I'm going to do though, I would never just use this like this. You always need to strain your base coats if you've caught them or if they've been drippings. So I just take this. This is just this little strainer I get from the dollar store, so $1.25 store. And I just pour from high and strain my paints into a different vessel. That way all the chunks and lumps and bits that were perhaps in that those drippings don't end up on my painting. So I just wanted to show you what I do. I'll fast forward and get out of this part for you. You don't need to watch paint drip. That's what I do to strain my base. So now I'm just going to throw a little water in this piece, or in this container. What's the word? And thin my base coat out so it matches my colors. And that's the beauty of this, because if I put too much water in it and it gets too thick, I can put some more base coat in it and it'll become perfect. So I'm going to take this off. I don't want to, it's very heavy and you don't want that directly on your canvas for too long. And I'm going to stir it. There. That is a great consistency. It matches my colors well. And there we go. So let me get this cleaned up. Baby wipe. Clean this off here. There we go. All right, so let me get you back into frame here and then we'll start pouring. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna put my base coat down. I'm gonna try to do it Catherine Osmore style, where I don't have to use a blow dryer or a spatula, because I don't want to. Get this out of here. All right, so here we go. The bubbles are numerous. Plenty of bubbles. Let me clean off my gloves. I just got a new torch. So, you know, it always end up with paint all over it. But for the first use, I don't want to get paint all over it. And my mind is going to stay clean forever. In my heart, I know it won't. All right, let me get this torched. Torching the sides too, because I just, this is not thick, but it is thick. So you guys have to remember, if you do that and you have a lot of bubbles, bubbles can also adhere to the sides of your piece. So you want to torch the sides too. That's true if you're covering things with resin too, just so you know. This color doesn't belong. That color that just popped up, it was a little like coppery color. It's because this is a drippings base coat. Sometimes colors will still want to pop their heads through. So I am going to use some 9-ounce cups that I got from Dollar Tree too. They're wet because I rinsed them out, because I don't know if you want to call it cheap, but even at $1, like cents actually per cup, I still don't want to waste money. So I rinse them out. I rinse all my stuff out. So let's layer some colors. I'm going to hold it over the canvas, but gosh, I don't want to drip into it. So I'm going to layer 2 cups. Just going forth. I'll try not to put all the reds right next to one another. That one is thick. This red, the one that I used all the Vivid Intense colors on, that one's a little thick. So we'll see how that works out. So I Just pouring it right here. That is so funny. These little coppery pieces are popping on through. And so I'm just going to do one layer of each color. Why? They feel like they suddenly got thick. Wow. I'm just going to spray some water into some of these. All right. In the end, it will be okay because of what I'm doing with these colors, these cups. I won't put any more gold. I will put a little bit more of the pinks. I'll put a little bit more of that iridescent green blue. I really love that color. And a little more of the coppery color, or the aqua color. Yeah. All right. So the tilt on this is going to be super simple. Because I told you it was going to be a vertical orientation, I am going to just take my cups and put the water back where it belongs. And I'm going to go here. I don't want it to be in the center, and I don't want it to be straight on the edge. I want a little bit of a lip. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm not going to pour like this. I'm going to pour sideways like this so the colors will come out. And then as straight of a line as I can, I'm just going to start pouring. It doesn't have to go all the way side to side, to edge, because I'm going to tilt side to side. Go straight off. Use my next cup. And you notice I'm off the canvas if I want to change the level of the color. I don't do it right on the canvas. Like I wouldn't go, for instance, if I wanted to go from up here to down here, I don't want to do it while I'm on the canvas because you'll get a line going like that. So I go way off the canvas and then change that level. Now here, it may look like this is all I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do next is use one of my scrapers here. This is just a scraper I get with some resin that I buy. It is Beast Bond resin. And you always get a little scraper with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through each of these down to the canvas to break up the color a little bit. So you'll see what I mean. So just obnoxiously down to the canvas to blend the colors a touch, break them up a little bit, break up the ribbons a little bit, going down into the black a little bit, up into the black a little bit, pulling the black into the piece, and just like that. Now, because there's no black right here, I'm actually going to dip this scraper into the black that's on the canvas and go straight through the middle. And hopefully when I tilt, they'll bring some black in there. There we go. So now you're going to see me just tilt side to side. But first, you're going to see me torch. All right, so now I'm going to tilt this way first and just side to side, not going up and down at all. That's why I made sure all my sides were covered first, because I don't want to change this orientation. I want it to be very, very straight up and down as much as possible. Obviously, I don't have a perfect hand. There are some parts that are bowed, but I want it to mainly be straight up and down. Watching paint stretch and move sometimes is so relaxing when you don't have to worry so much about the composition because you've set your composition already. It's just lovely to watch it go. All right, I think the weight of the paint is nice and centered. You can tell by where it moves first, and it moves first right there. I'm gonna give it a final torch with no gloves on. Keep my torch cleanish. And let's go. Now, the one thing that I said I wasn't going to do, but it worries me, is that this is bowed. The weight of the paint is right here, so I think if I tilt towards me for just a hot second, it may straighten it out. I'm hoping I don't mess this up. Sorry you can't see it. And that is exactly what it did. That is exactly what it did. Yes. So, right now, this is it. This is my piece. I love the simplicity of this, and I love that it's going to be hung vertically, oriented vertically. At least when I display it at my next art show, it will be a vertical orientation. And I think just the colors will pop. I will get you down and show this up close, but I, for right now, absolutely love it. One moment. So you know me, I like showing things in the dark, but this could, when I initially tilted, when I tilted the last time towards me, it made this base coat come off a little bit, which was giving like these little drips right there, the uneven nature. In my last video, if you would have seen it, I said, don't scrape my undersides when you need your paint to cover your sides, because if I scrape this underside right now, all this paint dripping will leave this uneven like that. So I'm gonna let it drip. It is not gonna change this composition enough up here for me to worry about having to drip it, scrape it right now. I'll scrape all the other sides because I don't want, like this side, I don't want to pull the paint too much from this corner. So I will definitely take a stick here and scrape this side to stop the pulling. And I'll do it on the other side too, to stop the pulling. Like, look how pretty those colors are in that pile of paint. Oh, it's so pretty. So that's what I meant when I say scrape the sides. You need to scrape, but for these, I want those to even out. So I am not gonna scrape them right now. I'm gonna let that paint continue to pull the sides down so it's even. But look how vibrant these colors are. I absolutely love it. It is so pretty. Now this side right here, this little end, if you notice, if you go back a few seconds, this was blunted. So I just took my tweezers and just stripped it right through the edge so it's sharper. So I don't have a blunt nose on the edge of any of my paint. But let me show you this in the darker room. It's kind of dark because I'm in Washington and it's overcast for the winter. But you see my base coat has some metallic too. But I absolutely love, love, love how all these colors came out. I love that they have blended a little bit. I love that dark area, that aqua, the vibrant aqua. So, so, so pretty. But I love that you have a little bit of a peekaboo base right there. And look at these little cells through the gold, that aqua through the gold. Oh, gorgeous. I love these colors. And so that darker red band right there, that was the Vivid Intense where I kept mixing. Then we have that mix of the magenta with a little fuchsia, and then below it we have just the fuchsia. So you have those colors coming through and each of them being distinct but blending beautifully. So these I love. This is such a simple composition, but I'm so happy with it. Let me turn my lights back on. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Can't wait for this to dry. I will show you it dry hopefully on my next video. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Bye. On second thought, let's just keep on going and see where it goes. All right, guys, this is dry, and I just wanted to show you what I'm gonna do. I did most of it, as you can see, but it's just the process of putting some liquid latex on, because I'm gonna isolate the band of color and I'm gonna resin it, but I don't want any resin on the black. So in order to make sure it doesn't happen, because I could just put tape on, but first of all, the band is irregular, so then I'd have to cut away and make sure blah, blah, blah. But secondly, the resin would seep under the tape. I'm convinced of it. So I'm gonna use the liquid latex. And again, I did most of it. When the color comes out and there's a little black, I did the insides too. But I just wanted to bring you in for this process just a little bit. But I didn't want you to watch the whole thing because it's taken me it's gonna take about a half an hour to get it all done. And then I'll tape the edges of the latex, and that should prevent resin from coming through. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape near the edges of the latex and then latex over the tape. So what that means I've got my tape here, is that when I'm ready to put the latex on, or the tape on, I'm gonna put it near the edge and then use my latex over the tape to seal the tape to make sure the resin doesn't come through under that tape. I'll just leave that there because why not? And that way it will really protect the black, make sure I can resin just the center, and I'll like the result, I'm hoping. So I will, because I only have, what, like 10 minutes left maybe, I'm gonna put my video on fast forward, give you a little bit of music, and then I'll come back as I resin. All right, see you soon. I did this morning, and it is now 8:38, so this is very well dried, and I am ready to do my resin. So here's just a few tips. I'm not going to talk to it while I'm doing the resin because I'm going to be using my respirator and my gloves and everything, but I'm definitely going to cover this piece. So when you're going to cover your resin, these cups are here because I want the stuff I'm going to cover my resin in place, especially because basically you don't want to move your air too much. So I'm going to use two 18 by 24 inch canvases. I have them sitting together with the front of the canvases together because I wipe those to make sure they're completely dust free. And then I sandwich the front of the canvases together so no dust can get on them while I'm doing this. And then also over top the canvases, I'm going to use a drape, a surgical drape. Not only because it's convenient, but also because surgical drapes are dust free for the most part, because you don't want a bunch of dust in your operating room. So I'm going to use those three things, two canvases and the drape to cover my piece, but it's all sitting here. It's all sitting ready. When I'm going to cover it, I will move very slowly over my piece. No moving the air, especially since I've done a few other videos in this room today. So I really don't want to pick up any of the micas that I may have been using or in the air. I have a, this drape, covering doesn't look clean, but I have flipped it over so I don't have any dust that's on the other side or any micas or anything on the other side that's going to get in my piece. I don't have my sleeves down because I don't want any fabric getting in this piece. So, and also I'm not standing over the piece because I don't want any hair to fall into it and everything. So I'm getting prepared. So I just wanted to say that before I put on my mask and be quiet and do this piece. And the resin I'm using Beast Bond resin. I absolutely love this resin. I'll put it up here. I don't know. I don't want to go over my piece. So I'm using Beast Bond resin. I'll put a link for it in the description below. I absolutely love this resin. It's the only resin I use for art pieces. I don't use it for coasters because I make my coasters into, I make them so they're used for trivets also. So the heat tolerance on the Beast Bond is not high enough for that. But see, this glove is not new. It was in my box, but it had some mica on it. But luckily I saw where it fell and it fell down here, I think. But of course I will babysit this for a couple of hours, make sure it's not going to bubble up on me or anything. So brand new gloves, brand new cup, and new-ish drape. So I'm gonna throw on my mask and we're gonna get started.
as the phone does.
Happier. I absolutely love it. I love how the colors turned out in this piece. They're so vibrant and I'm so happy. And I had to work because the latex didn't come off, so I had to redo the sides, which gave it a little bit of a texture because of the brush strokes and everything, and actually I'm not mad at it. So, oh, I love this piece so much. But, so you can have it like that. Let me see if I can reorient it one-handed without jacking stuff up. Sorry, you're really close to the wall right now. Or you can have it like that, but either way, I'm happy. But you'll have to let me know what you think. I love, love, love those Purely Pigments. They are so bright and so beautiful, and I'm so excited to have them, and I can't wait to keep on using them. But I love this little line. And I'm sorry for going off. I love this little line. I love the texture in it. I love it so much. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.